A gute Voch Rabboisai. Tremendous news all around. Beautiful stuff. Lili Nishmas Imi Rusbas Mordechai. So, it was about a year ago, I went on a little vacation with my wife to South Africa. South Africa on Shabbos, we're in Cape Town. And sitting next to me, I met a Yid. Hashgacha brought this. I met a guy who tells me that he develops apps for different shiurim. That's not his business. That's a side thing. As chesed, everybody, we can learn from this a tremendous thing. To try to get schusim. Schusim. He figured he's not giving shiurim, he'll help the people that are giving shiurim. And he said he heard that I do this 8-minute daf thing, and he wants to do an app. We never thought about an app, so he said, okay, Givaldik, let's go. So it just took him a few weeks. Within a few weeks, he had an app ready. And Baruch Hashem, today we have thousands of people on the app. Just in the last few weeks, they added like 1,000 different people. So, why am I saying all this? Because somehow, b'neis, a tremendous neis, he was able to get a business visa to come to Eretz Yisrael. And he's sitting right here in my dining room right now. So it's a tremendous, tremendous chus to welcome Leon Welcher and his son-in-law. Don't get any ideas. It's not for everybody. If you develop an app or kohen v'chayin, and then you could come sit here. Or if you're mamish a miyuchad, should be miyuchadim. Fine. We'll discuss. So that's a tremendous thing. What? Let me show you what they look like, by the way. Here we go. This is just YouTube. Say Shalom Aleichem, Reb Leon. Okay, great. Is it nice and straight now? The Zoom guys, here, we'll show you the Zoom. Here you go. All right, so that's that. Also, tremendous chus. We've been working on this for many months already. You know, we have in our shir 3 brothers. They were here from day one, basically. Avi Kamiansky.
Coming. I love you forever and ever.
Yeshua just walked in with a balloon. Shine, whatever. It's Yeshua. Let him be. Let him be.
I wasn't allowed to buy it, by the way.
They like it. Okay. No, get it away from me. It's going to start flying around in the middle of shir. So, we need some Gishmak air conditioning. We have 3 brothers. Avi, Hillel, and Eli. You're all familiar with them. These are the Kamiansky brothers. And Baruch Hashem, tonight, their father joined them. So it took a while, but Be'ez Hashem, we hope he's going to stick it out with us. And we welcome him. It's a tremendous chus. So now we have a father and 3 sons, Givaldik. Today's shir is being sponsored. I didn't have time to print it out. I just literally got the message. Michal Sarabas Arena Dvaira L'Refuah Shlema. It's one of our chaverim's kid. Michal Bas Miriam L'Refuah Shlema and Yaakov Yehuda Ben Gittel L'Refuah Shlema. Paris HaChodesh. Again, the ones sponsoring the whole ad campaign. Other people that are trying to get more people to learn Torah. Yossi Klein from Superior Plumbing and Shia Greenfield from Borough Park, so Yishikoyach. Oh, we have to read a shtickle email here. I forgot about that. So, real quickly, this is from David Holder. He says like this: Lower Belly. Originally, I'm from Manchester, England, the place that Mark Twain wrote. I would like to live in Manchester, England. Why? The transition between Manchester and death would be unnoticeable. Where were you when I had this whole thing with the Chaver from Manchester? Back in the beginning, they used to write me emails and shepherd me all the time. Now they're mamish behaving. I went to a very yeshiva. They were so yeshivish that humor of any kind was forbidden, and to this day I have a negative association with learning. So after 30 years, I've decided to join you on your journey starting with Pesachim. It's only the 2nd day, but I'm enjoying it. And I feel that I'll stick with this because I like you. I like you for 2 reasons. These are very important reasons. You have a sense of humor, you're learning with respect, not so dry as not be able to be humorous and casual. Learning should be fun, not a toil to be dreaded. And ever more importantly, you like Glenfiddich IPA. It's not the most common bottle, especially among Americans who drink Jack Daniels. So IPA right over here. And you're not going to believe it. Believe it or not, you know who bought me this bottle? You know who bought me this? You did. Leon Welcher bought me this bottle. And he writes like this. He says, once I saw the bottle in your cabinet, I just knew you were a good match. Don't spoil it for me by saying you never drink. Someone bought it for you. Sorry. No, I do drink occasionally. I'm not a drinker. I'll take a shot. So it's not a big deal. We're not a meshugal adover. We drink, we're actually more into wine. So Yishkoyach Leon, he saved me over here. I want to tell you a quick ma'aseh because he says that Americans think that Jack Daniels is whiskey. My father-in-law, Dr. Friedman, he likes whiskey, but he loves this particular whiskey. It's called Glenrothe, but 1972 Glenrothe, not Stam. They stopped making it. You couldn't get a bottle. So he went out and he found out everywhere we sold this Glenrothe, he bought them out, and it's about $300 a bottle. Kitzer, he has a stash of this stuff, and the Skver Rebbe came to his house. He stays in his house a lot. Well, not the whatever, the one from a different one. No, sorry. Spinker Rebbe. And he comes every year over there. And the Gabayim, so the Gabi says to my shver, could you give me some mashke? So he says, sure. He pulls out the Glenrothe. So it's a chashav gast. He pulls out the Glenrothe, gives him a shot. And I'm sure my shver is thinking, okay, that's $25 worth. And he says, this was really good. This is really, give me another one. Another $25. Another. Kids are finally after like the fourth shot. The guy tells me, this stuff is really good. This is like Jack Daniels. Much like Jack Daniels. Anyways, fine. So that's where we are today. Just let me believe that you love it. And that's his thing. One last one. Yashir is a matziv. This is from Zechariah Reznik. Yashir is a matziv. I love the way you engage the audience by reading emails, giving compliments, wishing you for shleima, and in general getting everyone excited for the shir. You should have continued atzlacha, and MDY should only grow and expand. Mr. Koyach. So here we go, Rabbi Sai. We're all the way in the bottom of Daf Amud Beis. Today is Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, or Daf Zayin. We're in the middle of a sugya. Why do we do B'dikas Chametz? Why are we mevatel during B'dikas Chametz? So Rava said, you do bittul because you might find a gluskana, you might find a delicious looking cake, and by the time you make the bittul, when you find it on Yontif, it's going to be too late. Once it's Yontif, you cannot do bittul, it's not yours anymore to be mevatel. The Torah takes it away from you and gives it back to you, like the Torah takes away a barbish or sarab and gives it back to you to own it. It's not yours to begin with, it gives it to you, so you're chayev. So too the Torah gives you the chametz, so you're chayev, but it's not yours. And mainly you don't have the right to be mevatel chametz on Yontif. So you do it before, you do it the night before. So now we're holding two lines from the bottom. V'nevatle ba'arba, v'nevatle b'chamesh. Why can't you be mevatel chametz during the day? Why do you have to be mevatel the chametz the night of B'dikas Chametz? Just do it 4 hours into the day, 5 hours into the day. What's the problem? Says the Gemara, Kivin the lavzman isuruhu, the lavzman biuruhu, because 4 and 5 is nothing. Doesn't correspond to anything. Dilma pasha v'le mevatele. There's no reason for you to remember to do bittul. There was a Rav here, unfortunately he was nifter very young, Rabbi Milinowitz. He was the master editor of Art Scroll. He once said of Vart, he said, it's like a Rabbi Victor Miller kind of thing. He said, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give us hunger pangs, like we didn't feel that we were hungry, some people would forget to eat, and all of a sudden they would be walking the street and just drop dead. It's a nace. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made us hungry, and we remember to eat. You need to remember to do things. If you don't remember, there's no association with anything, then you're not going to do. You're supposed to be in Vatal. When? Be in Vatal 4th, 5th hour. So, but you might not. And if you can't, it's too late. Yontif comes in, and then you find something in your basement. It's too late. You can't be in Vatal. Says the Gemara on Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, v'nevatli b'shis. But the 6th hour, that's the beginning of the 6th hour. That's when we burn the chametz. And if we burn the chametz, now you're going to associate it with the whole chametz situation. So you burn, you do bittul, you do everything else. That's what we do today, right? We're mevatel again. You're supposed to be mevatel at night, that's what we do, and then you mevatel one more time. Why? For all that chametz that you bought between bedika and bittul and sreifas chametz, all that chametz that's left over, you do another bittul. So be mevatel then. It's a good time to remember to be mevatel. Says the Gemara, Kivin the Yisur Derabanan Levei K'Deraisa Damya. Since it's already also to eat chametz on the 6th hour, it's not. It's only awesome the Rabbanon. That's the beginning of the 6th, not the end of the 6th when the real Isser comes in. This is a Rabbanon Isser. This is the time that you burn the chametz. So it says the Rabbanon. V'la b'shusi kaima. So Chachamim took it out of your rishos. V'le matzi mevatel. It's already too late. So once you mevatel, a little bit before that, you're not going to remember. You're not going to associate with anything. So memela, I mevatel it when I do the bdika the night before. So now I can associate bdika, bittul, everything fits in. If somebody is mekadesh a woman, the 6th hour, that's the Rabbanan hour. The special chitim that come from Kurdistan, from Kurdiniyasa. So basically, these are very tough wheat. Not such a problem of chametz. Even if they get wet, it's not a big issue. It's not kiddushin. Why? Because Chacham said that it's too late. This is the Rabbanan. So what? So because of it, it's the Rabbanan. I was mekadesh a woman. She's a ishes. Midaraisa, she's a ishes. Rabbanan said that these chitim are not yours. Rabbanan have the right to do that. I was mekadesh a woman. So this is the famous sugya. Rashi is it there? Call a mekadesh adat. The Rabbanan mekadesh, hefker bezin hefker. Rabbanan have the right to take away your property, so it's never yours, and you never had the right to make kiddushin. So we learned after it's a kashul. Once it's asur, you can't do bittul. Guy was learning Torah. He realized he has chametz. What does he do? It's mevatel on his heart. According to Rashi, he says the words. It's called bittul b'leiv. Echad Shabbos v'echad Yontif. If it is on Shabbos and Yontif, you could be mevatel. So there's a bam kash here because it says on Yontif you're mevatel with your heart. How do you get to the point of Yontif that you have chametz and that you could be mevatel with your heart? We just established you can't be mevatel chametz on Yontif. It's not yours anymore. Shabbos makes sense. It's not Yontif yet. Erev Yontif falls out on Shabbos. So you're sitting in this marriage on Shabbos. It's not Yontif yet. It's still yours. The Torah didn't take it away from you. So you're mevatel the chametz. However, Yontif, but once it's Yontif, it's Pesach afternoon. After Leil Seder, you're sitting in this marriage and learning Torah. You realize you have chametz in your dining room. You have scotch and you forgot to be mevatel it. You mevatel right there and then. But we just said it's not yours. The Torah gave it to you to be over the Isser, but it's not yours enough that you can be mevatel it. So what do you do? No, it's not a Yontif. It's Erev Yontif. And we're talking, it is Yontif. Yontif. What happened was a guy made food. He put together a dough on Yontif, and he went to learn Torah. And he realized that he has the dough, and if he doesn't, pretty soon it's going to become chametz. Now, he cannot get up. Why can't he get up and go home? Because he's sitting in front of his Rebbe. So in that situation, on Yontif, it is still his. How long it's his? Why is it his? Because it's not chametz. Now chametz is his, and he's going to be mevatel. Otherwise, he should just get up and run home and put it in the oven, and he's not going to have a problem. But since he has a problem getting up in front of his Rebbe, it's not covered. Therefore, he's mevatel in his heart. Why does it tell you this story? Just say a guy was walking in the street and he realized he had chametz, he's mevatel. The pshat is he has the fear of his Rebbe, he can't get up. That's the problem. I have a shiloh for you guys. Here's a shofar. This year, as you know, we sat and we were in a shul, My minyan, 11 people are Rosh Hashanah. So they asked me to blow shofar. Why? Because 10 years ago, I was once in a shul, and they didn't have a Baltakeya for L'David Hashem Oiri on a weekday. So they gave me the shofar and I blew. So since we're a minyan of 11 people, they said, okay, you're the closest thing to Baltakeya. So I took the shofar. This is the shofar. I took the shofar. Now, Shaila la'alacha. Can I make a bracha on this shofar and then blow? What if nothing comes out? I didn't try in 10 years. Are you allowed to make a bracha? Halacha l'maisa. Can I make a bracha on this? Answer's coming up soon. Omar Rav Ravuna Omar Rav. Hapas she'ipsho. Ooh, here, we have matzah here. So the time of the Gemara, I just want to show you this here. We're going from shofar to matzah. This is matzah from Pesach, Rabbi Isai. I don't know if it's ipsho or not. We'll see in a second. Ooh, okay, it's not so bad. I don't know, I didn't even know if it's from this year. Maybe the guy that sold to me, he sold me some matzah from 2 years ago, who knows? So guy has moldy matzah. Now in those days, the matzah, so he's going through his matzah, and he finds a pita. You see this thing? This is basically what matzah used to look like. Svardim eat this on Pesach. So he's going through his matzah, and he realizes that it's ipsho. You like that? I did it myself. What's the Shabbos here? See this? It looks ganz fine. How could I do it on a pita? Whatever. Pitulazu kiyumo. It's for the shir. Kivin sharofsa matzah muteres. What's going on here? So there's a roiv here. Most of the time he's using it for matzah. L'chayr, this is matzah. It's moldy. So it's important, this mold. When did it get here? How did it get here? Says Gemara Chidami, what's going on here? On Pesach, I have a pita that looks just like a matzah. I can't differentiate. They look very similar. You see, they're very similar. This looks, you wouldn't believe it. This is a matzah, right? But it looks like a pita. So you couldn't differentiate. So if there's a roiv, you get to eat it. Hey Chidami, what kind of roiv are you talking about? Ilim the other the chametzi. So the Gemara asks, if you know for a fact that it's chametz, roiv doesn't help. This is a pita, you bought it from a bakery before Pesach, no way. Kirov some matzah may have it, no way. El deleidinim bo chametzu imatzu, you have no idea. Right now you have a shayla. Ma'ir kirov some matzah, afil kirov some matzah, naminezel basar basro. So why do I need a roiv? Let's go by what I put into the box last. L'chayra, I made a nice bdika. I took everything out. And people typically, the way it works, what is it called? Like you rotate the stock. You constantly use the old before the new. So l'chayra, this is the new schayra. This is matzah. There's a concept, basra, you go by the last thing. And I'll prove it to you. So it's kedai to go over this. We do this all the time. Every time there's a mention, we go over it again. So we have it nice and clear. If you have a crop, you give truma gdoila, which is approximately 2% to the kohen. Then, once you're done with that, you're left, let's say, with 98%, then you give meiser rishon to the Levi, which is approximately 10% of what you have, 9.8%. You also do something called meiser sheni on years 1, 2, 4, and 5. You give meiser sheni to who? To yourself. You take 10% off and you give it to yourself, but you could only eat it in Yerushalayim. You could buy, you take it, you could switch it into money, and with the money, you buy produce for yourself. You could buy steaks, you could buy whatever you want in Yerushalayim, and that's 10% to yourself. And then you give Trumas Meiser, the Levi gives Trumas Meiser 10% from the Meiser that the Levi got, he gives 10% to the Kohen. Great. So now, imagine you have a ton of produce. You're a big farmer. You have a lot of money. 10% of that has to go to Yerushalayim. It's impossible for you to eat steak. You eat steaks all day long, go to a reserve cut, whatever, all day long. You're never going to eat your meiser. So what do? You leave it in Yerushalayim. You're not going to schlep it back. You go to your friend and say, here, take it. And people are usually buying, most of the time, they're buying with the money, they're buying shlamim, meat, and they're enjoying themselves. So the halacha is, if you find cash, money, by the people that are selling animals, loyla meiser. You have to assume this is meiser sheni money. Stick in the word sheni. Meiser sheni money. Because most of the time, there's a roiv, most of the people that come there, most of the money happens to be meiser sheni money. That's what people do with their money. Bar Habayis, chulin. If you find it on Har Habayis, it's not meiser sheni money. We'll explain. Birushalayim, if you just find it in general Yerushalayim, b'shas haregel meiser. If it's Yontiv time, when all the chutznikim come in, meiser. B'shayim meiser shana chulin. Other days it's chulin. Amar Rav Shmai bar Zera, my time, what's going on here? Hoyel v'shuka Yerushalayim asuyim l'skav v'choyim. Beautiful. They had those machines, those trucks. They'll come by with the brooms, the sweepers. They used to sweep the entire Yerushalayim every day. So we have an idea that okay, most likely there's no money left over from the day before. Great. However, Har Habayis is different. Har Habayis, explains Rashi, people don't walk in with their shoes, there's much less dust. Har Habayis is on an incline, so the wind comes, blows it away. So we don't have this idea like in Yerushalayim. It says the Gemara, Alma Amri Kamoy Kamoy Azlilei. Banachrininu. You see in Yerushalayim, we go by what is last. The first monies disappear every day. They come, they sweep it out. So too, by this matzah, let's say that this is a new one. Whatever was there before, they got rid of. They ate it, right? If you have fresh bread and not such fresh bread, you're going to eat from the other schayra and keep on moving. You're not going to leave something there for that long. Says the Gemara, look at this. Gross. How did this get here? Obviously, this is from before Pesach. Says the Gemara, Kirov matzah mahavi. So who cares how much matzah you have? If you have such proof in the form of mold, then what's all the roiv going to help us? It's not that there's many matzahs and all. It's the days of Pesach. So the problem is, then certainly it's not chametz. Why? Because you did b'digas chametz. You checked for chametz. So obviously this is not chametz. You got rid of it. But on the other hand, there's so much mold that even though you did a b'dika, there's a problem here. How did this mold get here? How did it develop this mold in such a short period? Obviously it's from before Pesach. However, so on the one hand, you'll say there's so much mold, it must be chametz. Not so simple. Since there's a lot of days of Pesach, so what does that help? The opposite. You think that would prove to us, that would convince us that it's from before Pesach? No. Every single day, this guy is baking fresh, hot bread, and he tosses it on top of this piece, and therefore it created more mold, so we could still understand this from Pesach. At the end of the day, we have this concept called basar basar. Whatever he did last, that's what we go with. As the Gemara, basar basra. Do we go by the last thing? You have a drawer that you put in there. Occasionally, you put your meiser money in there, your meiser sheni money, and your regular money. Now you have a problem. You don't know what this cash is. You find money, you don't know what it is. Imroiv chulin. Imroiv meiser. Depends what you use it more for. If you use it more for meiser sheni, so we'll assume it's meiser sheni. If you use it typically for regular money, so it's regular. Vamai lezel basar basra. Over here you see that roiv overcomes the basra. We don't go by basra. Why don't you just say, what did he use last? Whatever he used it for last, that should win. And it doesn't say that. It says the roiv wins. Why does roiv win? This story is different, you're right. Typically we go by basra. So why now do we go by roiv? Because there is no basra. There is no last thing. We don't know. He used it for both many days. He doesn't remember what he used last. So there's no basra. If there's no basra, you have to go by roiv. Okay, so a bunch of different reasons why. We have three reasons. He's saying no, they used it together. There was a bundle, like a rubber band of cash in one corner, a rubber band of cash in another, and then there was a bill in the middle. So I don't know which one it is. Again, a situation where there's no basra. The drawer had a little hole, and the coin fell into the hole. So again, this is not dependent on basra. We don't know when the coin rolled in there. Great. Omar Rabbi Yehuda. Beautiful sugi, Rabbi Isai. Also, nogea l'maisa, nogea to every day. Haboidek tzor shivar. So it's like a mishnah. So we'll do it's a hard stop. So I want to say Shalom Aleichem to Joe Berry, Shalom Aleichem, and I want to welcome again my good friend Shmuley Burnout from Chicago. Shalom Aleichem. Thanks for being with us. Who else? Mordechai Seltzer. You know what's your name again? Akiva Flex. He says Shalom Aleichem Mordechai. But you know who's on? Lev from South Africa is on. Lev, don't tell anybody that Leon came to the shir, okay? How you doing, Lev? Haven't seen you in months. How's it going, Tzaddik? All right. And Eli, it's a good zach. Your father is on. Okay, great. Effie Chevron. Shalom Aleichem, Effie Chevron. Okay, now we can go weiter. New sugya. Omer Rav Yehuda, haboidek tzorch shiyivarech. When you do b'dikas chametz, you make a bracha. We know about this, right? We all make brachas when we do b'dikas chametz. What bracha do you make? Major machlokes is here, and this is important to everything we do every day. The names are interesting. Machlokes is Rav Papi and Rav Papa. Rav Papi Omar Mishmei Rava. He says levar chametz. Oimer. What's the gears here? I don't know. This is for some reason. Omar. Oimer. Levar chametz. Levar, I'm about to do bir chametz. I'm about to destroy the chametz. Rav Papa Amar Mishmei de Rava. They're both saying in the name of Rava. Then a machlokes, what Rava said. Al bir chametz. So they say the bracha al bir chametz, as the Gemara is going to say at the end, this is what we do today. Al bir chametz. Bir chametz is a general thing. On the inyan of chametz, al bir chametz, it's very general. It's not I'm going to be mevatel. It's general on the concept of chametz, on the concept of bir chametz. Oh boy, do I have my sheets here? Turning of the daf thing. Oh, they're gonna kill me. Let's see. It's in here somewhere. Shalom Aleichem. What's his first name? Daron, you said? Yaron Weiss. Shalom Aleichem, Yaron Weiss. L'chaim. So, we're about to turn the Daf Amud Beis. Sponsored by Lilu Nishmat, sponsored by Mr. Anonymous, Lilu Nishmat Ruchama. We already figured out who he was because his brother also sponsored that same day without knowing. Lilu Nishmat Ruchama Chaya Fruma Alea Shalom Bas Reb Pinchas Yibadul Chaim Toivim. Lilu Nishmat Rebichil Shrago ben Avram Alevi. The second sponsor is our famous Talmud from the Five Towns, Lilu Nishmas, his father ben Achmendel ben Simcha. And third, sponsored by the fine and pearl families in the Schos of Refuah Shlema for Mindel Elko Bas Edel. Zok the Gemara. Bilavayr kulam eloi pligi devadel lahaba mashma. The word levair, I am going to be mevair, I'm going to destroy, it means in the future. Ki pligi ba'al biur. Now, let's take a stop here. We're going to get into this a little bit later, but what's the point? What's going on here? As the Gemara is going to explain later, we're just going to do chazara. When it comes to mitzvah, you have to say the bracha before you mekayim the mitzvah. Oiver las yasan. Oiver means before. For instance, when we put on tefillin, we put it on our hand, but we don't tighten the knot. First we say the bracha, then we tighten the knot. Or let's say when we wash our hands on the Netilas Yadayim, we wash our hands, but we don't dry our hands because you have to make the bracha before you do the mitzvah. It's always before. So the machlokes is keep ligi ba'al bir. When you say al bir chametz, Mar Savar Rapapi holds mikara mashma. It's mashma that already happened. al biur. You already did it. It's too late. You have to make the bracha after, not before. Umar Sovel Haba Mashma. And Rav Papa holds, no. You can, it also, as Tosfos explained, it also means in the future. Oh, so now we're going to go through brachas. Geschmack stuff. Meisvei. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, of course. Asher kedusharu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu al hamila. Now, according to Rav Papi, al bir chametz, al hamila, it already happened. So why do we say al hamila? So, hasam hechanema. What wording should you use? Al hamila means it already happened, but you can't do a bracha after it happens. You have to do the bracha before it happens. So al hamila is not a good wording. Hasam hechanema. Name it lamul. So what's better? You should say asher kedusharu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu lamul. Well, the problem is lo yisaged elav mal. So usually we don't do the milah. We hire a mile. And what is he going to say? HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded me to do milah on this child? He didn't command him to do milah. The only person that's commanded maybe is the father, but not the mile. So how could a mile say it's a lie? Asher Hashem said, Lamo? That's not true. Hashem didn't command you to do milah. Says the Gemara, but what about Aviyah ben Ma'ikil Meimar? According to Rav Papi, the father of the child should say Lamul, because it's a lot better than Alamila. Alamila means in the past, and that's not good in the past. So you should say a better lashon. Einochanami. Well, Einochanami means according to Rav Papi. We don't hold like Rav Papi. We hold like Rav Papa. They say Al Hamila means even the future, so it's great. So the father would also say Al Hamila. But according to Rav Papi, you're right. You should say Lamul, which means in the future. HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded me to do bris milah. Meisvei Baruch Hashem Kedushanim Tzivonu Al Hashchita. He should say, according to Rav Papi, he should say Lishchait. HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded me to do shchita. Al Hashchita means in the past. It's not a very good lashon according to Rav Papi. Hasamnami Hechanema. What should he say? Lishchait. He's not mechuyev to do shchita. You're not mechuyev to eat meat. Don't eat meat. Eat vegetables. What you can't say HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded me to do shchita. Commanded me to do shchita. So Meila al hashchita is a better lashon. Ask the Gemara, but sometimes you are mechuyev to Pesach v'kachim ma'ikil meimar. You're mechuyev to shecht your korban Pesach. You're mechuyev to shecht kachim. Maybe you make a kain shliach for you if you're not. But you're mechuyev to shecht it. Enochanami. So according to Rav Papi, he would say lishchait if you're shechting yourself, if you're doing kachim, if you're doing Pesach. Meisvei ha'isa lulav la'atzmai. If a person is putting together, I don't know if you realize this. In the time of the Gemara, when you're taking the kaishala and you're putting the aravas in and the hadasim in, that's when you make the bracha. We don't do that. We do it the next morning in shul somewhere. Meisvei ha'isa lulav la'atzmai mivarech shechiyanu v'kihimanu v'giyanu lazman hazeh. But what's important to us is Nitalei latzis by. If he grabbed it too, now we have to remember these words, very important. Nitalei latzis by. He lifted it up in order to do the mitzvah in 2 minutes. What does he say? Omer asher kedushanim b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu al netilas lulav. That's what we say. So according to Rav Papi, al netilas lulav is not a good lashon. It should say lita lulav. Al netilas lulav. It's the concept of netilas lulav. That means it already happened. Says Gemara, Shani Asam de beidno da agbo nafak be. Lulav is different. As soon as you lift it up, he says, you yai to the mitzvah. So I do have to say a lashon. Oh, it happened. Al netilas lulav, it already happened. Shalom aleichem. I lifted it up. It's done. So in the bracha, I have to say, oh, I already did it. So remember those words I told you to remember? It says, Nitalei latzis ba, you lifted up the lulav. In order to be yai to the mitzvah in the future, that's not a good lashon according to this. It should say, Yatza by mebayalei. The Gemara should have said, I already was yaitza, not I am going to be yaitza. You just said that when you pick up a lulav, you're yaitza right away. Says the Gemara, Einochanami. I'll show you my little guy. A little guy. I'll explain to you in a second why I have him here. Okay, so let's stop for a second. So nowadays, when you do lulav, if you yaitza right away, what's going to happen? You yaitza. So how do we make a bracha on netilas lulav? So Taisus says over here, let's see Taisus for a second. He says, let's say yatzim baya. Umishkachas lo k'shafachai. You can flip over the esrog, says Taisus. Can I read sukkah? Then yaitza l'derech gedi lasai. So if you look at my guy, it's amazing. The stem is over here. They flipped over. I don't know if they did it on purpose. The guy in Venice. See this? It's cool. This is when he's doing the bracha. If you flip it over, says Taisves, and that's what everybody does besides me, the Gronics don't do that. Why? Says Taisves weiter, Ukshadam noite lulav ain't tzarch lahavchay. You don't have to flip it over. K'the Pirishri, kivich tzarch lananeh bahalo. Oy mishum sheni roitze lotzis b'yisad netila. So the Re says that if you grab your lulav and you have specific intent not to be yaitza, you grab it before you make the bracha, and you say, I'm not going to be yaitza until after the bracha, then you're not yaitza. So mainly you don't have to flip it over. What's the big deal to flip it over? Because flipping it over is not so nice. It's not a derech to do for a mitzvah, they say. So that's why the Gra says you don't flip it over, you're just thinking in your head. But the Olam is noyeg to flip it over, and this is why. So if you ever wondered why on Yontif, on Sukkot, we flip the esrog, the answer is because of the sugya over here, that has to be over Latziyasan. You have to make a bracha before you mekayim the mitzvah. And over here it says in the sugya that as soon as you lift up the lulav, you mekayim the mitzvah. So it's already too late to make the bracha. So memela, we flip over the lulav, or you have in mind not to be yaitza. Says the Gemara. So then why does it use a lashon of lotzes? It should use a lashon yata. When it comes to lulav, we just established that if you lift up a lulav, according to Rav Papi, you're yaitza already. It's already too late. But the Brisa doesn't say that. The Brisa says lotzes. He wants to be yaitza in 2 minutes. According to Rav Papi, it already happened. What do you mean in 2 minutes? Says Gemara, you're right. The lashon is just mimicking the lashon of the following sentence of a sukkah. We're talking about sitting in a sukkah. So it uses the same kind of lashon, but it's not accurate lashon. What does it say? When a guy is building a sukkah, we don't do it like that. This is a Gemara that says as you're building the sukkah, we say shechianu. We say the shechianu when we come into the sukkah the first time at night. Nichlas leishev ba'omer baruch hasher kedushanim says tivanu leishev ba'sukkah. Fine. So it's mimicking the shiva sukkah. That's why it says lotzes. Great. Says the Gemara v'hilchasa, and we paskin, and this is how we paskin in Shulchan Aruch. Al bir chametz. In fact, we do say al bir chametz because bir chametz, as Taisus explains, it's mashma a little bit in the future as well. So we yaitza all days by saying al bir chametz. We're doing bedika, and we're going to be the chametz tomorrow. No, let's say bir chametz. Says the Gemara, the kuli alma mikara binu levaruchas. Now we're just going to go into a sugya, very easy, very geshmak sugya. Why is it that we make the bracha over lasiyasa? Why does the bracha always happen before we mekayim the mitzvah? B'nolan. How do we know this? Domer Avidom Shmuel, in the name of Shmuel. Kol mitzvah is mevarach aleim over lasiyasa. Every mitzvah you have to say before. By the way, Taisus just points out here. Some brachas you say lehoniach tefillin or al mitzvahs tefillin, al tzitzis. He says he doesn't know. Yesh tam brachas. There's a good reason. Veri leimatza tam lekol brachas. It's not clear why. Okay. My mashma the hay over lishno da agdumehu. Right? Even the Gemara says agdume. In Hebrew would be the bracha should be koidim lasiyasam. Right? Agdume. We're using a very interesting lashon. It's a funny kind of language. Over. Like to be over navera. What does over mean? What does over mean before? I'll just tell you real quickly the story over there. Why not? As Taisus says, Gemara has everything in it. It has Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim, it has Kabbalah, it has Agata. So here's a story. The famous story, Avshalom wanted to kill his father, David. War. So before David went to war with his own son, David HaMelech instructed Yoav and he instructed the generals, don't do anything bad to my son. He still loved him. It was his son. And Avshalom, they were beating them really bad and they were retreating. And Avshalom ran on his horse, on his pered, on his mule, and his long hair, he's a Nazir, his long hair got stuck in a branch and he's hanging. And they went and Yoav came and stuck him with 3 knives and killed him. And then they said they had to go tell David. So Yoav wanted the Kushi to go. And Achimat said, I want to go also. Kids said they both went. But Achimat wanted to go, he wanted to tell David in a very gentle way. He knew David would be really upset that his son got killed, even though his son wanted to kill him. So that's why it says, Vayaretz Achimat derech hakikor, vayavar sakushi. He beat him. They saw 2 people running. David HaMelech knew right away this news. He wasn't sure what the news was. And when Achimatz came, he said, we beat them. He says, but what about Avshalom? Hey, he drayed Ahin in the hair. He wouldn't tell him exactly. But he beat him. Vayavar, he got there first. So the Lashon Vayavar means it's before. So Oiver La'asiyazin, you should do a bracha before. The famous Yaakov Avinu went before his wife's, and he went there to Esav. Vayavar, he went before. It says in Micha gave a Nevius what's going to happen by the Geula. It says Vayavar Malcolm Lefneim, their king is going to go in front. Vayavar is going to be first. Vashem Beroisham, and Hashem is in the front. So you see the word Vayavar means before. Be'Rav Amri, very interesting. Chutz min hatvila v'shofar. There are 2 mitzvahs that you don't make a bracha beforehand, only afterwards. Tvilas mitzvah and a shofar. Bishlam tvila the katigaver lechazi. Tvila is a problem. Why? Because a balkeri, according to this man, the Omar can't make a bracha, can't learn Torah, can't make a bracha. So first he has to be toivel. And then go. Taisa points out that today it's the ger that can't make a bracha because he can't say Asher Kishonim says tzivanu. He had no tzivui. So because of the ger, we learn Torah b'keri. That's how we paskin, and we say brachas. But it's because of the ger that once he can't do it, so loy plug, no one can do it. Elo shofar my taimon. But what is the reason you can't blow shofar? Because if you're going to say the problem is that he's not going to come out with a good tkiyah, and there's going to be a bracha levatala, very complicated acts of shechting. And mila, what if you shecht a chicken and your shechita wasn't good? So, bracha levatala. You're right. It's only the tvila that's a problem, but a shofar you do make a bracha. So going back to my story, I just want to tell you a Musa Hatz. Maisa Shahaya, not a lot of witnesses, but 10 other people were there. I took the shofar, I made the bracha and I blew. And I didn't even make a single mistake. Why? What's the pshat? Look at this simple shofar. My chavrusa gave it to me. I told him I want it as a gift because it means a lot to me. I got up there the first time I ever blew, not a single mistake. I had to go back on one tkiyah because the makri was also not a professional, and he said trua instead of tkiyah or whatever it was. I went back on that, but not because of the mistake. Pshat is like this, very simple. When there's no expectations, then what's the worst that could happen? I'll just blow it. So I didn't think I had to perform. I had zero expectation. Everything went smooth. That's the yisoid. It's a big yisoid in life. No expectations. Zog the Gemara. So at the end of the day, we say that by Tekiah you make the bracha, even though you're not so sure if it's gonna come out good, and that's how we do it. So it says mefurish when you toivel in the mikvah, you make the bracha afterwards. Why do we check for chametz with a candle? You see what I'm talking about? It's all mamish negei l'maisa, things that we're used to. We know the answers to a lot of these things. I wanted to do a thing, but it's not necessary. It's one of these very long Zera Shabbos. Okay, it's like a 4 or 5 word Zera Shabbos. Hold on. Do me a favor. See if you can plug this in somehow. YouTube to come back for a second. Okay. Weiter. So where were we? Shkoyach Gary. So now we're going into this beautiful Zera Shava. Very, very simple actually. You ready? Gary, you ready?
No, I'm not ready. Wait, let me just get a coffee. Give me 2 minutes, okay?
Okay. Ay, vavoy. Can't wait until that whole mikveh business is over with him. He needs to okay. You hear Gzeir Shava. The Gemara is going to explain everything very, very simple. We learned the word mitzia from another word mitzia. Umitzia mechipos. And the word mitzia from the word chipos, to search. V'chipos mechipos. And I learned the word chipos from chipos. V'chipos meneiros. We could stop right over here. That's pretty much the end of it. But the Gemara goes on, v'neiros mener. Just in case you want to really figure out, if you have some issues, there's another one. V'neiros mener. What does this mean? Goes like this. Very, very simple. Mitzia me mitzia. Right? By Chometz it says Yimatzei. It shouldn't find any leaven. And it says by Binyamin and the Gevia that they were searching by Yichapes Bagadol. They searched from the older brother, Achel, Ubakaton Kilo, Vayimatzei. So it says Chipos, it says Vayimatzei. Umetzia mechipos the day. Right there in the parasha it says Chipos. V'chipos meneiros. Now once I have the word chipos, it says somewhere else by candles, d'chsiv, ve'esahi achapes es Yerushalayim b'neiros. Later on, I'm going to search the entire Yerushalayim with candles, says the Rebbeinu Shlomo. Okay, so if we stop right over here, in Yerushalayim there's a candle, it says chipos, then there's chipos with mitzia. B'kitzer, by chametz, you have to search with the candle. We go all the way down, 4 steps away, HaKadosh Baruch is going to search b'neiros, fine. But then the Gemara continues, v'neiros mener. Just in case these neiros of Yerushalayim are not enough, there's another pasuk. D'chsiv, ner Hashem nishmas Sodom, choifes kol chadrei vaten. Okay. Tana very small. Now we're just going to repeat this. Mamish word for word. Leili arbasa baitim zachametz l'raner. Very small says, check with the candle. Av bishem rai l'davar, zeich l'davar. Now, let me ask you something. Ner Hashem Nishmas Sodom is a pasuk in Mishlei. Pasuk in Mishlei. So I'm proving from a pasuk in Mishlei that the pasuk in Lo Yematzei by Chometz is referring to a candle. So Rashi asks this question, and Rashi says, "V'raya mamish lesa." It's not a great raya. El asmachta ba'alma. It's only an asmachta. It's like, okay, it's interesting. The divrei Torah, the divrei Kabbalah ninu. You're trying to learn Torah from Kabbalah. Okay, so it's not like a real, true Gzeir Shava that went from the Torah all the way to Mishlei. It's only a Zeicher. It says the word Yimatzei. And it says the word Chipos. Why do I need another pasuk? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to search Yerushalayim with candles. But you know what? He's going easy on you. I'm not going to go with my big giant light and look for all your Averis. The Navish Nahir too, because it gives off a lot of light. I'll find all the Averis. Ella ben Nahira, the Shrago. I'm going to go with the small little candle, the Zuta Nahir Tvei. It's very little. I'll find the larger Averis. I'm not going to go crazy and find all the small Averis. I shouldn't say that word, crazy. So Memela, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is using a ner. He's trying to go light on us, easy on us. But we, searching for chametz, why should we go easy? We need to search for the chametz. We should go with the larger candle. Tashma ner Hashem nishmas Adam. So that's great, but before we stop for tonight, I just want to point out Tosfos, because it's a shame Noam is not on. Noam loves this question; it's his favorite question. So So once you have the pasuk of Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam from Mishlei, why do I need the first pasuk? Well, it's Mishlei, that's not wrong. But Taisus points out that Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam is not a great raya. Let's see it inside. Where is it? Bottom Taisus. Because he says V'shloimar, the chipus leikoy, last Taisus in the bottom. The chipus leikoy aner. I could divide the pasuk. Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam is one thing. Chayvis kol chadri beten. He's searching the stomach, whatever, but it's not with the ner. It's two separate things. The first pasuk is much more mashma that it's the ner that's the chipus. The second pasuk not, but the second pasuk I need because maybe it's a kula in Yerushalayim. So the combination of two psukim, that's why I need a combination of two psukim. Rabbi, have a wonderful week. I'll see you tomorrow in less than 12 hours, 7:15 Eretz Yisrael time. Welcome, Mr. Kamiansky, and welcome, Liam Welcher. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. So, there's no Shir Hamalis now. Gary, how's it going? Do me a favor, open the door. It might be pizza or something. What? Hold on, I can't hear. Mendy just walked in. It's a secret. Oh no, all the South Africans just walked in here. What's going on here? I can't hear you. Hold on.
I can't believe everybody didn't know there was a live shit going on by our alley. It's unbelievable. I was sure
That who? Yeah, let's just put it over here. I wasn't Megala. The only person that was Megala by mistake is Yeshua. Told me, "Oh, you're having a big guest tomorrow." Like, how do you know? Leon told you? Like, Leon's coming. I don't know. He's talking about some other guest, I guess. All right. What happened? Why is everybody muted? It's very quiet.
Ellie, did he bring biltong? That's what I need to know.
Did he bring what?
Biltong. Beef jerky for you Americans.
אני לא יודע מה זה.
Not the same. Biltong.
So you're watching the show to that hill. Look at that. It's dangerous.
I know what I need.
We're on both YouTube and Zoom. You're both, yeah. Leon, straight.
I'm almost there.
I'll just put it like this. Let's take away the.